associated with magic. As kids, when we see top hats, we connect them to magic tricks. But as adults, we connect it with social status and wealth. Well, as I mentioned, top hats were often worn by the highest-ranking Freemasons who would often perform strange rituals. One famous occultist, Aleister Crowley, first coined the term for these twisted rituals as blood sex magic. It's rumored that little children would often be involved in these sick rituals. Aleister Crowley formed another cult called Ordo Templi Orientis, which would perform many strange blood and sex rituals. The cult had many famous members, one being the musician who wrote the song I Don't Like Mondays, Bob Geldof. His daughter later spoke out against the cult, alleging that they used children for their rituals. 6 months after she made those allegations, she was found dead in her apartment by an apparent overdose. The bad guy with the top hat is quite the popular trope in movies that touch upon the topic of child abduction. Professor Screw Eyes in We're Back, the Dinosaur Story, is a traveling circus master who tries to lure children into his show. The children have to sign a blood contract. He gets his powers from the fear of the little children.
Proceed to the contract.
Louis, I'm scared.
You are? Good.
Dr. Foslier, also known as the Shadow Man, is the main antagonist of Disney's 2009 feature film, The Princess and the Frog. He is an evil witch doctor who plans to rule New Orleans with the help from his friends on the other side. Anyone remember the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? That guy is total nightmare fuel for any child watching. The fandom wiki describes him as a black-clad, large-nosed man who is employed to hunt down children and take them away. He carries a large net like that used to catch butterflies, and a rather menacing-looking hook such as those used by old-fashioned abortionists. The child catcher occasionally catches his prey by luring them out with lollipops. What's even more unsettling is that this character did not exist in the original book. Disney's producers just thought it would be a good addition to the children's musical. I caught the same exact thing when I was working on a video about Disney's Return to Oz. The reason I made the video is because at the beginning of the movie, Dorothy is taken to a Victorian-style insane asylum by her auntie, where she forcefully undergoes electroshock therapy. She then dissociates from reality, like that of a victim of the original declassified MKUltra experiments done by the CIA, where patients were drugged with LSD or something similar, and tortured until the point that their minds were shattered, or fractured. This would put the victims in a very vulnerable state where you could either withdraw any information you want from them, or you can reprogram their mind with orders to carry out any number of agendas, including assassinations or so-called terrorist attacks. The weird thing is, none of this is in the original Return to Oz book, where the story was supposedly coming from. The whole movie ended up being dark, twisted, and it scared the ever-living shit out of children. These are just a couple of reasons why you can find this meme right here going around. Regular people that don't think critically see Disney as this magical world where dreams come true, and truth seekers like myself see Disney for what it is. It's magic, all right. It's black magic, witchcraft, and sorcery. That's just what Disney was made for, and after all, magic wands are carved from Hollywood.
Every day, our senses are being constantly bombarded by subliminal messages that are found in TV, movies, and advertisements. The subliminal messages we are subjected to are unrecognizable by the conscious mind and only recognizable in our subconscious mind. The messages and imagery are passively absorbed and then stored in our subconscious, where propagandists deliberately implant artificial thoughts, which in turn can affect our actions and attitudes later in life. Experiments have shown that less than 1 minute after the viewer begins to watch television, the brain switches from beta-level consciousness, associated with active and logical thought, to alpha level, which is associated with passive acceptance and suggestibility. This is why advertisers spend billions of dollars a year on commercials.
The subconscious mind is responsible for the majority of our decisions. In fact, it is the subconscious that is in control of about 95% of our actions, while the conscious mind is in charge of merely 1 to 5%, depending on the individual. The behavioral responses of our subconscious are formed by the time we are 7 years old. That means that for the rest of our lives, our behavior runs on autopilot nearly all of the time, as informed by those early years of hardwiring. A study by Dr. Bruce Lipton, a developmental biologist, shows that while the subconscious mind operates at 40 million bits of data per second, the conscious mind works at only 40 bits per second, meaning the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind and is the main force which shapes how we live our lives. And just how is the subconscious mind programmed? It learns from the examples of others, such as parents, siblings, and the community we are born into. Thus, how we behave in our life is really programmed by others rather than ourselves. When we encounter stimuli, we react automatically with any number of familiar, hardwired behavioral programs. Historically, religions and religious groups like the Jesuits have used this knowledge to control the masses.
The Jesuits knew this 400 years ago. They would boast. Give me a child until it's 7, it will belong to the church for the rest of its life. Think about what that means.
And in modern times, this information is nothing new to major companies which exploit our subconscious for profit. And given new technologies, new psychological research, and new scientific understandings of the mind, they are able to do it with immense precision and depth, all while hiding their efforts, leaving the masses to believe we are independent, free thinkers. Let's take a look at one of the biggest multinational mass media companies to infiltrate our lives through the subconscious: Disney. Follow me down. Disney is well known for hiding subliminal sexual messages in their children's movies. Most times, parents don't realize this because they are not obvious, at least to the conscious mind. This is how Disney bypasses the parents and takes control of their children. The sexual subliminal messages reach the children through the subconscious mind during their first 7 formative years, and thus program sex into their brain as an automatic behavioral response. Remember, the subconscious mind is registering data 1,000,000 times more than the conscious mind. By corrupting a child's development, these programmers are able to create a false need in an individual that leaves the person searching for sex or sexiness to fill a void. The feel-good nature of Disney movies and the magical memories of childhood are forever linked with sex. The need to fill that void is then exploited for profit throughout an individual's life. Products are embedded with subliminal sexual messages or are sexual in nature. The subconscious picks up on the programming and equates purchasing the item with sexual fulfillment, which they subconsciously believe will fill a void in their life. Thus, the individual is stripped of his or her conscious abilities and instead becomes a consumer whose purchasing decisions are not his own, but instead the result of sexual impulse, which was programmed into them by the very corporations which in turn sell the merchandise. Disney programs the children, creating lifelong customers, similar to how the Jesuits created lifelong devotees to the church. There are over 40,000 Disney princess toys. Children under the age of 14 spend about $40 billion annually, and teens contribute about $159 billion per year. Thus, Disney is big business. When children get too old for animated Disney movies, Disney Channel television shows pick up the slack. The worship of Disney princesses turns to the worship of tween celebrities. As children grow with Disney, Disney's sexualization of its characters and plots become more overt. Not to the extent that parents stop their kids from watching it, but to the extent that it fills the child's sexualized programming, keeping them loyal customers. When adults appear as characters on these shows, they are often portrayed as the comic relief element, driving home the message that parents are laughable, a message which is reinforced with canned laughter.
I wanna get my Opa on.
Honey, if your pants split anymore, everyone's gonna see your Opa.
This helps to break down the family structure in young teens' minds, making them think that they know better than the adults.
Did she get in your head?
Thus allowing Disney to take over the role of parenting. Disney celebrities like Miley Cyrus start out as innocent Hannah Montana-like characters which parents approve of. Kids copy the trends they see, dressing and acting like their favorite Disney characters. When the clean-cut Hannah Montana transforms into the sex idol Miley Cyrus, her fans do the same. Sexuality becomes synonymous with freedom, independence, and adulthood. It's at this point that parents try to draw a line, but it's too late. Their children have become Disney kids, years of programming firmly in place. The desire to be like Miley, or really to become a celebrity yourself, becomes an unattainable dream attempted to be achieved through materialism. Many people dream of becoming a celebrity because they imagine it would fulfill the void in their life, which was created by the disintegration of the nuclear family, and thus a lack of love during those most formative 7 years. When after buying the latest, sexiest product doesn't fulfill the desire, the void, the individual becomes depressed and feels low self-esteem. This low self-esteem begins the destructive cycle of commercial love, purchase after purchase in a futile attempt to feel happiness, love, and contentment. There is a societal discontent that corporations have created and then told us they could fix with materialism. As I've said many times during this video, 95% of our behavior is controlled by the subconscious.
Takes two to make it true. Your heart will lead you there.
Where is it?
No place you don't take with you. You better watch your steps, cause the path is steep. Better hold your breath, cause the water's deep. It's a long way down low for lovers leap, but falling's half the fun. In you bending, where the passion fruit grows sweet. And it's so divine that you lose your mind as it sweeps you off your feet. In you bending, without a worry or a care. It just takes two to make it true. Your heart will take you there. You can beat the bush like there's no tomorrow. From Tanganyika to Kilimanjaro, but you'll find your pendy wherever you are. Oh, underneath the sun.